Failing as a writer because of some external thing you have no control over is scary. But failing because of some internal reason that you have 100% control over is much more terrifying. In anything you do, you have the ability to make yourself fail. Yes, there are external factors that can hamper your chances of success, but you always hold the cards when it comes to the power to bring failure upon yourself. You always have the ability to self-sabotage, something that many, many writers do all the time. So today, let's talk about some of the common ways that writers can self-sabotage themselves, and how they themselves can stop self-sabotaging themselves. These are ways that we slow down our own progress, the ways that we stifle our own brilliance, the ways we light our own dreams on fire and shatter any possibility of becoming the person and writer we want to become. Speaking of becoming something, consider becoming a subscriber to my channel. You're the only person who has the power to do that. I, since the last YouTube update, am not allowed to do that anymore. All right, way number one that writers commonly self-sabotage: you work on stuff that you like working on. There's a damaging feedback loop that can happen where there's something you're good at doing and you're encouraged to do that thing because it feels good to work on it, at the expense of the things you aren't as good at. Over time, this means that you improve in areas where you already excel and don't improve in areas where you need to improve. For me personally, I love the big picture stuff of writing: plot, characters, building arcs, and twists and all that. But I hate syntax and grammar and commas and semicolons. I commonly make copy editors nauseous or nauseated. No, I make copy editors, nauseated. I think that's right. I came to a difficult realization in the last few months that my writing is stagnating in quality because I'm not focused on these little things, and this is causing major problems. When I would get critique and see people not connecting with something or not understanding certain passages, I said to myself, oh, this needs more description, or oh, this character motivation needs to be more clear, when in a lot of cases, a better handle on things like sentence structure might have fixed most of those problems. You probably have something similar in your writing, some area of the craft that you love to get better at, and areas that you really, really avoid focusing on. No matter how much you improve in one area, you are always going to be dragged down by your weakest area. A chain is only as strong, as its weakest, link. Self-sabotage thing number two: you defend mediocrity, specifically your own mediocrity. Everybody on some level has an ingrained natural inclination to protect their own work. We treat our work like it's our territory, and any threat to that territory needs to be defended at all costs. The problems creep in when those threats to our territory are actually people pointing out legitimate problems with the work. And this manifests in all sorts of different ways. A lot of new writers I hear from say that they have trouble reading their own writing. And this is something that I've definitely experienced. A lot of people will avoid reading what they've written because it makes them cringe so badly. That is ultimately a defense mechanism because you have in your mind this idea of how good of a writer you are, and reading your own work can lead to you quickly disabusing yourself of that notion. This is amplified tenfold when other people read our work and tear down that idea that we have in our minds of who we are as a writer. Anyone who's experienced an interesting or dramatic writing group will have all sorts of stories around this. This is a difficult thing to deal with, and something that very few people even realize is happening, let alone make any effort to confront. I think you need to accept the fact that you are neither good nor bad, that any single piece of work is not a reflection on you as a person and as a writer, and that defending anything in your work is just kind of silly at the end of the day. You will never improve as a writer if you don't address the problems in your writing, and the first step to addressing them is recognizing them. And you can't recognize those problems if you're constantly defending them. Self-sabotage thing number three: you don't put the work in. The one consistent thing I hear from old people is that life goes incredibly fast. that you don't have time to waste. I have a lot of confidence in saying that most people watching this are not working as hard as they could be, myself included. Whether it's the hours you're putting in or the effort being put in within those hours, you are probably underproducing from what you could be. Very, very few people work to their full potential. There's a bit of a stigma around this idea. A lot of people value leisure time and space, and I get that, and there's all kinds of toxic productivity nonsense stuff out there nowadays. But there's a big difference between resting and avoiding work. There's a big difference between putting a ton of effort into work you enjoy and being productive in a toxic, burnout producing way that's detrimental to your health. And we are living in a world where more and more forces out there want you to stop working and rest, because resting usually means watching or shopping or eating or otherwise paying attention to what they want you to pay attention to. It's difficult to open your eyes nowadays without having tons of highly engineered content driven into your retinas that's designed to make you stop working and spend time on distractions. This very video that you are watching is part of that distraction industrial complex. I've no doubt in my mind that you spending the 9 minutes or whatever you're going to spend watching this video would be better spent practicing writing. You would get more benefit out of it, probably. People need rest, they need a break. Working until you collapse from exhaustion is probably not healthy. More work comes with costs, but you have to ask yourself whether those costs are worth it. Every hour you spend doing something else is one less page that you will write in your lifetime. Think about that. And the last reason that writers self-sabotage, they mix up cause and effect. You can't really know that you can swim until you go into water that's deep enough that not being able to swim would be problematic. If you can't swim, please stay away from water. Don't interpret me as saying you should go do that. A lot of people wait around to be ready to do things. We want assurance. We want certainty that we will succeed. We think that once we're motivated, then we will write. We think that once we're great at writing, then we can write a great novel. We think that once we're good enough, we can finally execute that one idea that we really love. The capability to do something fundamentally arises out of doing that thing. The motivation to write arises out of the action of writing. Producing a great novel comes out of producing a great novel, not the potential that existed beforehand. You won't know if you're capable of doing something until you do that thing. Unless you've done the thing before, then you would know that you're capable of doing it, but you know what I mean. There is always uncertainty looking forward. It's only in retrospect that you can assess whether a decision was the right decision or whether you were good enough to do something. An unwillingness to deal with uncertainty will keep you stuck. It's the basis of writer's block. It's the basis of procrastination. It's the basis of so many problems in life. Don't waste time on the wrong end of the cause and effect relationship. People often get these things backwards. Speaking of the back of things, we've reached the end of this video, which is kind of the back, I guess. I don't know. So there you have it. I'd love to hear what you think about this stuff in the comments down below. Please remember to subscribe. Also, if you're looking for some help with your novel, I have a complete novel writing course that you can get access to at the link in the video description. So please check that out if it's something you're interested. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.